Cybernetic Culture by the CCRU. Stifling, claustrophobic atmosphere of heavy significance. Everything you say is measured. Let's go around the room. Everyone tell us who you are. Infinite debt. You can't speak unless you've read this or that, or this on that. Interminable waiting for authorization letters from above. Letters after your name. Endless staircases leading up into limitless gloom. The castle. Abstract diagram of authority. Home of ancient coding machinery and site of malevolent lobster invasion. The great crustaceans double articulate the whole planet as a labyrinthine series of dead ends, impasses, and incommensurable differends. The world's your lobster. There are only two options. Ostensible acquittal or indefinite postponement. Get used to feeling guilty. Behind every wall in the castle, there's evidence of horrible scenes of torture. The human organism, or Oedipus, is an unwieldy reflex response mechanism programmed by the use of the cruelest mnemotechnics in naked flesh, a crazy invertebrate piloted by a lobster. The lobsters call themselves God and inscribe law across moldering parchments. To get them, you have to burn through layers of Reich character armor and brave the stench of thousands of years of putrid psychic slime. The castle is a well-guarded complex, done up with all mod cons, periodically refitted with all the latest gadgets as capitalist power passes through the 3 stages of mechanic development. Look around and you'll see the clocks and levers belonging to Phase 1, the sovereign mode, thermodynamic machines belonging to Phase 2, the discipline mode, and typewriters adding machines and computers belonging to Phase 3, the control mode. Automaton, robot, cyborg. Mechanical, industrial, cybernetic. Mobilized at first as part of the search at any price for homeostasis for self-regulation, cybernetics emerges at the end of history terminal of Phase 3, dedicated to the avoidance of excessive inflow, excitement, the reduction in the machine of the effects of movements from towards the outside, a tool in man's age-old quest to avoid being dragged away by the currents. Feedback stayed negative, and the whole Earth was a dynamic, self-regulating, homeostatic system. The first offspring of this marriage of cybernetics and the organism emerged in bionics labs. In 1960, a new concept was created to denote the cooperation of man with his self-designed homeostatic controls in quasi-symbiotic union. The cyborg. Cyborgs are just human beings with knobs on, still carbon copies. Cyborg politics encourage you to disassemble your identity in the comfort of your own text. Don't worry, it's only a metaphor. Get real. That is, get synthetic. The real isn't impossible. It's just increasingly artificial. You needed a synthesis, and for that you got a synthesizer. Not the old kind, the musical instrument, but something to channel your group through. A thought synthesizer, functioning to make thought travel. Cybernetic culture appears at Phase 4, a faceless counter-invasion from outside human history, flipping cybernetics out beyond the organism and reprocessing the other 3 phases as thresholds in the becoming of synthetic intelligence. The planetary information net was not an embryonic gestalt mind, but a primeval ecology analogous to Earth's first few million years, an environment dense with constituent elements in the form of free circulating shareware, dumped data, viruses dormant and active in clippings and dippings of data fat from the gigabytes of processing power in motion at one moment across the world web, energy-rich, subject to chaotic fluctuations, and approaching critical mass and complexity out of which an independent, self-sustaining, self-motivating, self-repairing, and replicating system might precipitate. The virtual space that cybernetic culture explores is assembled out of samplers, computers, post-Gutenberg hypermedia, and games. If we consider the plane of consistency, we notice that the most disparate things and signs move upon it. A semiotic fragment rubs shoulders with a chemical interaction. An electron crashes into a language. A black hole captures a genetic message. There is no like here. We are not saying like an electron, like an interaction, etc. The plane of consistency is the abolition of metaphor. All that consists is real. Beyond the straight and narrow, cybernetic culture can't concentrate, but it does zero in. Dismantling the past is already getting in touch with something else. Contact and contiguity are themselves an active and continuous line of escape. It is not me, you, underlying agents that flee. It is intensity which loses itself in its own movement of expansion." Unquote. Alarms in the castle. Lobsters screech as the strata are uprooted and remixed. Mashup. Soft Technics plugs into hard copy to produce bodies without organs. End of the definitive version. No one knows who did what. Authority panic buttressing a final bulwark against the eruption of the plane of consistency. The minting and issuing of the currency is one of the few remaining functions of government that the private sector has not encroached upon. E-money will lower this formidable barrier. Don't wait for change to come from above. Getting with it is a question of having the currency that will make things function. Change for the machines? Have you got the right change? The contract is broken. Excitation, not endless citation. No more looking for peer positions from the heights of which we could not fail to give everyone lessons, and it will be a sinister paranoics revolution once again. Instead, it's a matter of quietly seizing upon every chance to function as good intensity conducting bodies. Becoming synthesizers, becoming connectors, becoming mediators. Creation is all about mediators. Without them, nothing happens. They can be people, but things as well. Plants and animals. It's a question of something passing through you, a current which alone has a proper name. Following threads, making connections, minting new currencies, convergence, concurrence, cybernetic culture.